Hello everyone, we are Conda Activate VNV and here is our submission for the TRI-NIT hackathon problem statement dev04. So here's our solution, Clusterbase, which is a one-stop platform to clusterize and visualize all of your data in real time and a hassle-free manner. So without any further ado, let me delve into the solution itself and let's go on to the console. So as you can see here, we got a cluster-based console over here, and the main purpose of this console is to provide a one place for all the cluster configurations that have been added by the user. So as you can see here, we already have a few of the configurations over here. We have the cluster name, we have the cluster ID, and we have this sort of URL which I'll come to in a moment. So without any further ado, let's add a new cluster out here, and we got a cluster name, say I'll add it as a TRI-NIT hack, and we have a new cluster ID created for us, which is basically the name and a UUID attached at the end. And here we have the API endpoint. So the API endpoint is basically the source of the data that we're going to feed in to create the cluster, and this is the same source from which we'll be getting real-time data for our clusters. So let's create a new cluster, and here a new cluster is created, and we are coming to the cluster dashboard out here. So we got the cluster rules and we got the cluster visualization chart over here, and we got some other info such as the delete and the back buttons also. So let's come to the cluster rules. So we got three main inputs that we need for a rule. So first is the attribute identifier. So the attribute identifier is basically the exact name of the attribute as in the data set, and the next is the attribute data type, so whether it's a string or a number data type based on what's there in the data set. And the third one here, which is something special, is the attribute match type, which is either full or partial based on whether you match the string or the number completely with others, or whether you take a part of it or a substring of it and match it. So in that case, that would be partial. So let me add a few of the attributes as in the data set. So we already have a data set out here at this endpoint created for us. So let's go on with adding some data. So let me add status, which is a string type, and I'll like to have it as partial. And let me add product code, which is again a string, and I'll keep that as full. And then finally let's have sales, which is a number, and let's have that as partial, and I'm adding this. And also here we got one more rule that we can add, which is the number of clusters that we want to have displayed in our visualization. That can be 1, 2, 3 till the time it's lesser than the total number of attributes that we have defined here in the rules. So let's go on and save the rules out here and go on to the cluster visualization. So as you can see here in the cluster visualization dashboard, we got options to select which attributes do we want to visualize. We can visualize up to 2 attributes out here, one on the x-axis and one on the y-axis. So let's say I want to take product sales on the x-axis and the product code on the y-axis. And as we can see here, we got beautiful clusters out here. So as we took 3 clusters on the top for in our rules. So we got 3 clusters over here, and we also have interactivity in these clusters. So as you can see me hovering over these clusters, we can see that what is the kind of data that separates them. So we can see it's been shipped, it's been cancelled, and it's been delivered, and etc., as mentioned in the status column. So we can change these to whatever we want based on the x and y values. And let me change the number of clusters to 2 and save the rules now, and we'll be able to see a cluster with only we'll be able to see a visualization with only 2 clusters. So apart from that, it's completely customizable. We can edit and remove the rules anytime. We can change the data sources, and all this happens in real time as and when the data is added or removed. So we can even add some other attribute over here, and we can even remove it, and the visualization will keep changing. So as you can see, we got the visualization. So that's pretty much it, and hope you guys liked it. Thank you very much. We are Conda Activate VNV.